Motorsport 411 presents
all the four- and two-wheeled action.
Motorsport 411 with Sean Cardovillis.
Welcome to Motorsport 411, your home for all your four- and two-wheel action in Africa. Coming up in this episode, we recap the 34th Rhino Charge as we speak to the winner, Mark Glen. And we continue our build-up to the 2023 WRC Safari Rally as we catch up with Hamza Anwar, who finished 8th overall in the Junior World Rally Championship category at Rally Italia Sardegna.
All the four- and two-wheeled action. Motorsport 411.
Welcome to the show. So the 34th Rhino Charge was held in Samburu County over the weekend. Mark Glen and Team 48 finished first overall, followed by Sean Avery, Graham McKittrick, Ian Duncan and Gurumit Mehta. Over 170 million shillings was raised at the event that was graced by His Excellency President William Ruto. After the event, I spoke to Mark Glen. Mark, thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411. Congratulations. How did the event go for you guys?
Yeah, thanks, Sean, for having us on. Great to be with you. The event was absolutely awesome. Our stars were aligned. I think on an event like the Rhino Charge, you need everything to fall into place on the day. I think on the day things are getting more technical year by year. I think the teams are getting braver. This year was a shorter charge, so one had to be on their game as the obstacles were quite a lot more than normal. So yeah, it was a great day for us. No major issues. You had to tackle it full on, but not a straight line like we normally do. On our first stage at Asatau, we had a 200-meter descent and we had to use a rope that we extend. This rope actually got snapped on a rock, but luckily we were off the bad bit. So yeah, there's always something there to catch you out, Sean.
Can you give us a brief history, how long you've been at the Rhino Charge and, some of your results?
So we've kind of done pretty well over the years, if I don't say so myself. We've had some luck. We've won 6, we've come second in 3 and 4th in 3. I've been doing it about 20 years on 3 different teams, and about 16 years ago, I got my own team together, and so a lot of experience comes with that. As on this charge, we were lucky with the start point we had, where we did the longer legs first. We got them out of the way in the beginning. So yeah, as you know, time is always a factor. You only have 10 hours to finish the charge. So I think for me, it's a lot of experience comes with it, and that goes hand in hand with what we do.
And who's your crew? Who's in your team?
So we have a great group of friends. I mean, we've been together. Most of us have been on the team for 15 years or so. I got Gerard Beaton. He's my navigator. We got Steve Outram, Johnny Harris, and Ross Withy, who are my runners, and they're all pretty fit guys. Steve's our strongman and helps with the winch and stuff. Then we got Piers Dakin from the classic rallying world. He's my main mechanic, so he keeps us going.
Mark, how was the course this year compared to previous years?
So I tell you, when we turned up, we started to hear rumors from Don and through the grapevine that it was going to be a proper tough one. And Don at the briefing mentioned that, don't go too straight, or the terrain is in the Sayalaga, where it comes out of the Carisia Hills. And so basically the course was 21 kilometers. Normally it's about near on 30. So we all had to try and cut a tighter line. It made it harder with time management, because normally we kind of keep trucking. We actually finished at 4:30 an hour early, so we didn't think that would be a good thing, but luckily for us, it turned out to be a good thing. I mean, to give you an idea, there were only 6 finishers out of everyone that started, so that's 4 from super modified and 2 from the unmodified, which is pretty amazing.
Tell us about your car.
I mean, our car is basically a Range Rover, a standard Range Rover that over the years we've kind of added to. It's it's a 3.9 engine. It's an LT77 gearbox. But over the years, we've added Volvo portal axles, which made a huge difference. We've got a Ashcroft crawler gear. We got King coilovers. We got hydraulic steering. And Maxxis Tire World Limited came to the party 3 years ago, and they started sponsoring us with these tires, which I have to say, Sean, have been a total game changer. They're Trepadors, Maxxis tires. And it's soft compound rubber, and the grip it gives us is insane when climbing up rocks and stuff. So a big shout out to them.
Now, the competition, as always, must have been really stiff. From your point of view, there's always been a huge battle between you guys and the Averys. How big was it this year to beat them?
Yeah, so Sean, no, you're right. I mean, the Averys and us, we've always been there or thereabouts. This year it was great for us to put an end to their hat trick. They did the same to us in 2019. We were on 2 wins, and we had the next one to get the hat trick, and they beat us, and we came second. So for us, it's really good to get one over on them. But I think, Sean, I think there's about 10 teams, in my opinion, that could win the charge on any given day. I think this year, I mean, the tracks have come out, so we've all had a chance to look at the organizers' tracks, all our exact GPS routes. So, I mean, I've been going through those. And I think there's, 3 teams that deserve a mention because they could have been on the podium. Obviously not first, John, but they could have been second or third. But Gurmit Mehta of Car 3 of the Italia Chargers, they're always there. They missed out by 3 minutes on a finish, and they would have for sure been in the top 3. The Team 42, Kohali McRae, they also didn't finish, but they were in line. Their lines were pretty tight. Team Husey, Car 33. They're a bunch of crazy young guys, so their time's going to come. Those guys just go straight. That's the only way they know. So, yeah, Sean, I think a huge shout out needs to go to the unmodified cars. These guys, they turn up in normal street cars. They put a winch on the front and the back, and they're expected to do the same course as us, which is, where we see them in places, what they're going over. It's amazing what they do. In my opinion, they need to maybe shorten the course for these guys so that they can take on a bit more in good time rather than 13 checkpoints. In my opinion, and a few others, they should do maybe 10. But yeah, a big shout out to those guys.
Mark, it was held in Samburu County, such a beautiful location, and it looked really green with all the rains we've been having recently. Now, you had Jean Todt, the former FIA president, and he's in the country on behalf of road safety awareness. How significant was it having him there?
Yeah, Sean, I think having Jean there was amazing. He's done so much for motorsport over the years, and he's a respected figure by all of us. Over the years, and whether it's in rallying, in Formula One. So to have him there, it just brings massive exposure to the whole event. So yeah, it was really amazing having him there. My dad actually used to rally a Renault Alpine in the 70s, and he bought it from Jean Todt in the Renault factory. So that was quite a nice twist for me to meet Jean.
All right, and of course, President Ruto was there as well.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. An honor for all of us to have His Excellency William Ruto there. And yeah, like I said, to raise awareness of what the Rhino Charge family and Rhino Arc do. I know he knew about it before, but he came with some great pledges to support us in the future. And Peter Kinua mentioned the road going through the Aberdares. And obviously it's a big topic for all of us. So hopefully he realized the plight and the challenges that it'll bring. But yeah, it was an honor having him there. There was another legend there in my eyes, a guy called Rob Butler. He owns a company out of England called Off-Road Armory. This guy builds some of the best off-road competition cars in the world. The one he built recently actually won the highest class in the King of the Hammers in America. So this guy's beating the Americans at their own game of building cars. So yeah, having a guy of that caliber watching the Rhino Charge, I'm really great.
Now, a huge amount, once again, I think it's 170 million plus was raised for the Rhino Charge this year. How did it go for you guys, and how difficult is it year on year trying to raise this money?
So, Sean, I think it's an amazing amount of money. Adil Khwaja came with 60 million from one team, which is astonishing. Many of us, a lot of the teams, we go around asking friends, we ask people in our industries to support us. So it's not really one person who, I think the small guys make as much effort as the big guys. We all go around. I think that it's for such an important cause that basically I think everyone in the country should be supporting this. Out there's diesel levies, there's railway levies. I think there should be a water tower levy. I think we should all contribute to saving these mountains.
Okay, you're also in the Rally Raid Championship. How's that going for you?
We've had a mixed couple of years. I think, been second. Last year we were third. We win quite a few events, but we haven't had the luck of, I think, Ross and Quent. They've had stars aligned in the last 4 years, and they seem to get the championship. But we've got the pace, so we just got to get the luck on our side, and hopefully next year or this year the championship should be ours.
What's next for you guys?
So, Sean, we're probably classic rallying. Looks like a challenge in itself. It's obviously takes a bit more money to do that, but hopefully with some good sponsors, maybe one of these days we can get that.
And finally, Mark, why do you love motorsport?
It's always a challenging thing. I think it's great fun, to say the least. It's an adrenaline rush. Also bring pleasure to the guys watching. I think on the raids, we're pretty crazy, which I think you've got to entertain the crowds to a point. And I think in the Rhino Charge as well, you've got to entertain the crowds. And no, it's great. It's good to be part of it. And it's one of those things.
Mark Glen and Team 48, the winners of the 2023 Rhino Charge, the 34th edition. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411.
Sean, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for having us on.
We'll be back.
All the 4 and 2-wheeled action. Motorsport 411.
So welcome back. Now, the 2023 WRC Safari Rally is next on the calendar and will be held between the 22nd and the 25th of June. Competing in the event will be reigning world champion and defending Safari Rally champion Kalle Rovanperä.
Hi, it's Kalle Rovanperä here. Last year, myself and Jonne took the victory in the best and most epic rally on the calendar in Kenya. So this year we are really excited to come back to Safari Rally, and I hope to see you all there because we are going full send again.
Now, there's been a huge blow for Uganda and African fans at large as the African Rally Championship leader Yasin Nasser has pulled out of the forthcoming Safari Rally. Here's what he had to say.
Sean, thanks for always coming back to us whenever there's some big events have been happening. We really appreciate that. Sean, as you know that we have our title sponsors, which is Moil Tanzania and Moil Uganda and Moil Kenya. They had passed a budget which was sponsoring us to do 3 events like Tanzania National Championship, Uganda National Championship, and the Africa Rally Championship for this year. And when we looked at the WRC event and looking at the budget, the budget was very, very high and it was not making sense for us. So we tried to look around for some co-sponsors to come on board so that we can get some kind of support from them so that we can be able to participate in the WRC. And unfortunately, the number of them that we met and contacted showed interest, but they were not really willing to due to their financial constraints. So we did have options and just withdraw ourselves and wait, inshallah, next year when things are better and we'll have less championships to run in, then we can be able to participate 100% in WRC.
Now, as we mentioned, the Safari Rally is next on the World Rally Championship calendar. It will be held in Nairobi and Nakuru County between the 22nd and the 25th of June. Hamza Anwar competed in Rally Italia Sardegna over the weekend, finishing 8th overall in the Junior World Rally Championship category. I got to speak to him after the event. Hamza, thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411. You finished 8th overall at Rally Italia. It was a learning curve, some big ups and downs, huh?
Yes, certainly. It was 8th overall. Unfortunately, on SS2, we had a very unfortunate impact with water. That it wasn't actually an impact, but the turbo sucked in water, so we were a little too fast into the water. So that was a bummer, but so as you guys know, it's the fastest time plus 10 minutes. So we were immediately, even though we continued the next day on the Super Rally rules, we had an hour's worth of penalties. So, but you know, that's rallying. We didn't put ourselves down, and we pushed on. And it wasn't all negative because we managed some decently good, decent times, I'd say. We set a third fastest stage time in the tricky conditions with the wet, and we were consistently either fifth or keeping up with the pack. So that was a big milestone for us.
To be fair, you weren't the only ones. The Rally 1 cars were having a lot of problems with the water splashes, huh?
It was quite tricky, and you have to really get it right. Usually in Kenya, we really have a soft base or either a very hard base. So with the Rally Italia in Sardinia, it was a little different. It got a bit rutted, and it had quite a firm base. It's quite rare that you get something rutted with a firm base. So we did hit the water, and apparently there's an art to taking the water splashes. But we kind of learned, and by the end of the rally, we were hitting the water splashes almost flat out. So we took it positively, and we've learned quite a bit.
Now, Hamza, you were in a new version of the Ford. It was called an Evo, is it?
Yeah, the Fiesta Rally 3 Evos.
How did that go?
Oh, amazing. The new Fiestas are really nice. They're what we drive, but a much improved version and a much developed version after 3 years of the car running in production. So, I mean, okay, they have a few aesthetic new lights, new wings because the track is a little wider. The suspension is really probably the biggest upgrade. The travel is quite impressive for a little car right now. And it also has a bigger grille, which allows more intake of air. So airflow through the vehicle. So it's quite a really nice notch up. And I think it would fare very well on our conditions soon, hopefully, as well.
This season, really, I guess it's not so much about the results, but more of a learning curve for you.
Yes, for an African driver, for a Kenyan driver, the level of competition that we race on as Africans is nowhere near to the home of motorsport, which is in Europe. So, I mean, the competition is so stiff and it's so nail-bitingly tight, and the atmosphere is much more tense and much more professional in that term. So it's been amazing. We're learning. We're really interacting with a lot of competitors and kind of picking up on a lot of stuff. We are the first few batch to ever go and race outside of Kenya and Africa. So we're very appreciative because of the amount we're learning. And I mean, just within 3 events, I feel personally from where I was after winning the junior championship to now is amazing. I've learned so much and I can never look back. It's just to push on forward now.
2 people who must be mentioned, Adnan Din, your navigator, and your father, Asad, really, with you all the way in Europe, huh?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's been amazing to have Mzee alongside us. He's mentored me from such a young age, and still going to the world, from racing in our local little autocross championships where I was mentored, and now he's still mentoring me onto the world stage when I'm racing the world's best. And I mean, few out of us 8 drivers will actually make it to be world champions, or to race in Rally 1 cars one day. So it's a huge honor. It's amazing. I'm very appreciative, and also with Adnan, we've come a long way from nobody in Kenya wanting to sit with me to me and Adnan being an undisruptible force right now. And it's amazing. We've got on so well. We're still learning. I'm still learning. Adnan is still learning. Us as a team are still learning. And rallying is a game of learning. So you have to keep positive and keep pushing forward no matter what happens.
Now, it's quite a quick turnaround for you guys. A lot of the drivers saying that Rally Italy was like a warm-up for the Safari Rally. From your point of view, your expectations for the Safari?
Definitely, it was nice to have wet conditions, and we've proved ourselves time and time again when the going gets tough is when we really come into the limelight. We're really good in the mud, and looks like the Safari may be wet with the tropical rainstorms lying around. So, for me, I'm really looking forward to it. And Sardinia was a tough event. It's probably one of the toughest events I've done. It's actually, the roughness is probably worse or comparable to what Safari has, because it's filled with bedrock and loose rocks on the line. At least in the Safari, it's the chances of finding a rock in the middle of the road are not so high, even after many cars go through. So it was an amazing event, and I think it was kind of a warm up, the survival kind of effect. The last few events have been such flat out events, and had different strategies. And now to have Sardinia just before the Safari was amazing, because it was a survival event. And even though we went out, I take it positively, because it reminds me for my home turf event on how I should approach it.
All right. And you must be pretty happy to be linked up with your teammates again for the Safari Rally, the FIA Young Stars.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's been so long. The last time we actually rallied as a team, unfortunately, was in Boy. But yeah, on the bright side, I'm really looking forward to be back battling with the boys, Jeremiah, McRae. So it's good. We always have a positive attitude between us boys, and we have a good atmosphere of competition. Even though I'm doing the World Championship, it doesn't take anything away from the rest of the drivers. It's still good competition, and really looking forward to it.
How special is the Safari for you? It's your home event. You've just been with the top drivers in the world in Italy, and to be meeting them a few weeks later on your home turf, how special is it for you?
I'm actually really honored. It's a beautiful thing. You get to interact with all the drivers and team principals, and it's amazing that even some of the top drivers, when you do occasionally bump into them, they always have a few questions for you. So it's quite an honor to get to interact with your heroes and stars, and you can actually have a conversation about a strategy for the Safari. So it's been incredible. I'm very blessed to actually have that level of conversation. I think I might just become a Safari advisor.
All right, that's Hamza Anwar, who competed in Rally Italy Sardegna, finishing 8th overall in the Junior World Rally Championship category. Thank you so much for speaking to us on Motorsport 411.
Thank you very much, guys.
We'll be back.
Motorsports 411 with Sean Cardovillis.
So that's it for the show this week. Our thanks once again to Mark Glen, Yasin Nasser and Hamza Anwar. Our thanks as always to Big City Studio. I'm Sean Cardovillis. See you next week.